Hello and welcome to this next video in the chapter of OOP, Object-Oriented Programming. And in this video we want to talk about the basics of classes and when we use classes and something like this. So when do we use classes? I will talk about that in the end, but let's assume that you've decided to have a class. Then what you're going to do is click on your project. Console app is mine, but you can have any different console, any different project. Doesn't have to be a console project. It can be a, I don't know, graphics project, whatever. And then you press either Control Shift and A. You come to this dialog, or you press with a right click and then Add, and then New Item. Come to this menu where you can add a new class and you give it a name. As you can see, or don't see because I cannot zoom in this window, the first letter is written capital, so class names are written with an uppercase letter, and we want to have a class. And we want to call this class, I don't know, whatever you want, whatever you like. I just start with a class that I want to call Amazon Product. Alright. And then by pressing enter, we can add this class and are already in here. So what we have at first is an access modifier, and we will talk about that in a later video, but for now you can just write public every time. Okay. And then there's a basic structure in your class. So you will start with member variables, and then with the properties, then the constructors, and then in the end you might write the methods. And this is not like a written rule, it's just what I've seen in other videos and what I do over the time. And you can subdivide even more so that you can sort methods into first public then private methods, but it's just a little much for now. And we will talk about properties in the next video, but for now let's give our Amazon product some functionality or some variables. So our Amazon product should have some variables. We don't want it to be able, we don't want other parts of the program to be able to access the private things, so we only want to change the price inside of our product. So we make private float price and give it some price, like $9.4 for example, also $9.40. Then we want to have a name, private string name, and we hard code it for now to be empty. Also, you want to have a description and other things you can add it, but in this demo I just don't. And then you have your methods. And because this is private, you cannot access it when you instantiate an object out of this class. So what you're going to do is create some methods that return and set a name. So you might have a method that is called public void set name, and it takes in a string name and just sets name equal to name. And just to make it clearer, we will call this parameter underscore name. Also, we have the same thing for the price. So we have a set price float price with an underscore here, and then set price equal to underscore price, and then have a public string get, I don't know, like get details, for example, and you just want to return the name plus an empty string as just to have some blank space here, and then say price plus price like this, and then you have your basic behavior for Amazon product. So you have a name, you have a price, and you have methods to set the name, to set the price, and get the details. And in your program you now can instantiate your object from the class. So you say the type at first, Amazon product, then the name, product 1, and then with new Amazon product you create a product. Now you can say product 1 dot set name and call it, I don't know, whatever you want to shop from Amazon, but I just will shop a guitar. And then in the next step I want to set a price. Like having it 499. Don't forget the F. And now we can say product 1 dot get details, like here, and use it to be displayed in our console.readline. And if we run this, you can see that all it took was like 3 lines just to have all this functionality. And this brings us to the question when we use, or when do we use classes. So we use classes in certain cases, and in languages like Java and C# you want to do it all the time, because as you can see with this here, C# is designed around like object-oriented programming. So you want to do, or you at least can, abstract everything into classes. But for me, I think that it is up to your personal flavor and your personal liking when to outsource your behavior into classes. So I want to answer it a little bit from another perspective. So there are basically some rules of thumb. Now, when we outsource something into classes, we can instantiate many objects from it. So you can encapsulate behavior into classes when you want to use it more than once. So just imagine all this code like this, 20 lines or so, just for this simple behavior. Imagine you have 3 different products in your code. You don't want to have all these 3 lines with different names and then have a get details 1, set price 1, get details 2, set price 2 for the first and then for the second product. So with just this class you can instantiate as many different objects from this one class that you want. I had just the tone of WhatsApp when I get messages, so I'm really annoyed by that. And the other thing is that you have to consider when you want to, like, when you have a lot of behavior that just is regarding one specific thing. And the best example that I can come up with right now is when I wrote a tic-tac-toe program. There are a lot of behaviors, routines, methods that just are used for the board. So to maybe put a mark somewhere to print the board, to take input and check if it's already taken on the spot that you wanted to set your mark on. So I outsourced all this behavior into a class called board, and then could only or could reference it in the main program just by saying board.update or something like this. So if you have a behavior that regards one thing or that is like responsible for one action, you want to outsource it, and we will talk about this in another chapter or in another video. It is a design principle that is one object is used for one thing, so we will take on that rule later. But if you have many things like variables and methods that are used for one thing or can be grouped into one family, you want to outsource it again. So these are the basics, and in the next videos we want to add on this different comments here on properties and on constructors. But for the next episode I have actually added new functionality, and I teased it in one of the last videos, but we finally have the possibility to have coding challenges. So if you see the subscript of this video, and again, you just have to type in fdigs.eu and then find your way from the start to your playlist, basics playlist. You can find the contents and the playlist, and for each little like videos that I made, you can get a subscript where you have the video and what we've learned there summed up below. And especially in this video I would ask you to do so. So this, because we come to this site, I'm not yet published this, so I have to do it by the WordPress site here I'm on. But at the end you will find this link, and you will come to this as well if you go to coding challenges and go to the side. You find the coding challenge first class, and here you can see a difficulty rating, so it's the first star. And here you can find your coding challenge that you want to do before the next video. So the next video is going to be about constructors, I guess, or properties, and you want to do this first. So in this challenge you want to do your own first class, I guess. It's a console handler, and you want to have member variables that store colors and methods that are used to write colors or write strings and colors. But you really can be very creative there. So please make sure to make your way over there and have a look at this. And until next time, I wish that you can have at least some success at the challenge. And if you have any questions, you always can comment down below here. I know this is German, but it shouldn't be too bad. And in the video about constructors, I will present you my solution to this. So if you are worried and don't know if you've done it right or correctly, you can either email me or just wait for the next video, because I will present you my solution. But there can be a lot of different solutions, because as I said, you can be creative, so it's up to your liking and up to your own ideas how you just do with this task. But in the future there will be a lot of different challenges that you can find here just to practice your coding skills and practice coding skills on your level and your interests. So this should be interesting for all of you. And until next time, I wish you all a very good time.